Well, I think that our senior population has increased, obviously, and those of us who are baby boomers are trying to manage this growing population, and it comes as a surprise to some of us that our parents have gotten older and sometimes aren't managing fully all of their affairs as well as we thought they were. And certain things will surprise us, and we will get a clue in the midst of our own activities, as well as usually we're true sandwich generations, so we're trying to manage and help out with grandkids. And then all of a sudden we notice that maybe meds aren't being taken properly, or there might be a trigger in some part of our lives that we notice that something, they aren't getting out of the house as much. Things that aren't good for them, and we know it, but when we finally have that moment to take it, to say, aha, something is needed here, I think that knowing about the services of counseling on aging can be something that could enhance our ability to help, give them other options in their lives, that we don't necessarily have to do all of them. We can have counsel on aging help and assist us in assisting them. I have a deep-seated feeling about community and living in that community and working in that community and giving back to that community. And I believe deeply that as a human race, we need to care for the least of these. And in my opinion, the least of these would be animals and children and our elderly. And I have those priorities in my life, and I hope that other people understand that at some point we become less able to care for ourselves as we go through life, less resourced, and a little bit sometimes more shy in admitting our frailties and our failures. We perceive them as failures. They're not really failures, but they're frailties, and somehow that is an admission of failure, and that isn't. We want to make sure that we're supporting this great generation that has raised us, that has supported us, that has done all of the things that they thought they needed to do to get here, and now they're needing our assistance. And I believe as a community, we need to provide for those families that may not be as well resourced, and so that they can have the kind of lifestyle that they would like to have for not only their aging parents and others, but also for themselves. It's important. One of the things that I use a lot is that you must put on your own oxygen mask before you can help those around you. And one of the ways that you can put on an oxygen mask for yourself is to use the services of counsel on aging to assist you in helping those around you. So it's by assisting and getting that help, you're actually helping yourself maintain a lifestyle that isn't all about and consumed with caring for somebody else, because that also is not necessarily great for yourselves. Well, I think that knowing what the services are, I have people in my life right now that I am going to need to ask to bring over and to at least explain to them what might be available to them. I think some of the most important things that happen is social problems. We don't get out as much, we aren't as brave, we don't want to brave the weather, and we feel less able to go out and do some of the things that might be a little bit out of our comfort zone. The number two thing I think that we need to make sure is that they're getting their meds on time and properly. And that is a huge, huge problem. And that needs to be, that's confusing. and it needs to be updated. And oftentimes they don't think to update this information with their doctors. And thirdly, they need great nutrition in order to be able to think and be physically active. I love the continuation of life skills that you guys offer. I think that it's really important that they get to learn new things, because the more that we make our world small, the smaller that their lives will be. And we don't want that. We want them to continue to expand all the way until, you know, they're no longer able to care for themselves. So part of what you guys are doing, I love, is you're providing for body, mind, and spirit. And the spirit is the tender love and care that you are making sure and looking around and saying, what are the true needs as human beings, as vital, thriving people. We don't want our seniors just to survive, our adult people that are aging just to survive. We want them to thrive. And I believe that you're designed to help them thrive at home in a safe and productive environment for themselves. And I think that's all things that we want for our parents, for me as I get there. I'm so glad you're there, because I want to make sure this is all in place for me when I get there. So I'm very grateful that there's these kind of services, and I just don't think enough people know about them.